All right, going on a run here at Slingshot World Headquarters here at Super Training Gym. This is where we record our podcast, and this is where we do all of our lifting. This is also where we handle shipping and receiving for the products from Slingshot, Mind Bullet, and of course my supplements within you brand. Time to start going here. Get the nips out and get ready for a little run. Throw this over here. Hopefully no one steals it. And I just want to kind of show you guys today just something really simple. It's my belief that just about anybody can run. Just about anybody can start to learn and start to acquire the skill set of running. And I want to show you how I do it. You may have heard me talk about it quite a bit. The easiest way to figure out how to run is to turn your run into a walk, or to just take your run down, not just to a jog, but to somewhere between a walk and a jog. And so it can be as simple as just going like this. You take a couple steps. This is a walk. Lean your head a little bit forward. Maybe start to walk a little faster, and then you're here. I'm going to show you how to kind of maintain that pace. You know, it's going to be over time. You want to be able to maintain that pace for 20 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 8 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, and so forth, right? That's just going to take a lot of time. And so the more time that you spend doing it, the more time that you spend on your feet, the more used to it you're going to get. One way to get used to it quickly is to be able to recover from it so that you can have a high frequency. So let's just say hypothetically that day one you go out and you're going to say, I'm going to go out for 20 minutes. All we're concerned about is the overall time, the 20 minutes. I'm not concerned about how much you run or how long you run within those 20 minutes. But over a period of time, we're going to get ourselves to where running for 20 minutes straight is not going to be difficult. But the way that we're going to do that is by exposing ourselves to being on our feet, to doing some sort of walk or some sort of combination of walking, jogging, and running during whatever X amount of time you denote for that particular training session. So another good idea is just to go out and say, I'm just going to go out for an hour. But you don't really have a particular expectation of how long you're going to run or how long you're going to walk and so on. It's really just play is all you're going to do. So I'm going to show you how I do that, and I'm going to first show you just how I warm up. And how I warm up might be, in the beginning for some of you, might be your workout. And so I just start out with walking and jogging. A lot of times I get out of my car and throw my headphones on. Once the headphones go, then I go. Once the music goes, I go. So I just start like this. Very light and very slow. Jog a little bit, walk a little bit. No matter how good I feel, all of my workouts start this way. Walking and jogging. I use a couple apps when I'm running. One of them I use is called Morpheus. Might be able to see it right there. Morpheus, that's on here too. Chest strap. A little off center there. I'll move her over. I've been utilizing this for a few weeks, and it's been really, really valuable for me. It's actually, I think it's helped my times decrease by almost 2 minutes per mile. And one of the ways that has been really helpful is through training. You know, I'm doing heart rate training. So I go on the app. It's got these different states, steady state 1, steady state 2, and so forth. In accordance to my HRV, my heart rate variability, which this thing will accurately test and check, it's going to give me a specific workout for the day based off of that. It's going to be based off of what it thinks my energy output could be. And I got to tell you something. The thing is absolutely incredible. At first I thought like, nah, you know, a friend of mine created it, Joel Jameson. And Joel is the person that made everyone aware of heart rate variability years ago and writing a book about it and stuff. But I was like, there's no way this stupid algorithm is going to tell me how to work out. And I was wrong. It accurately tells you how to train for that day within the given confines of whatever style of workout that you pick. Nsima uses Morpheus as well, but he uses it more for interval training, and I use it more for slow, long distance stuff. So I almost always hit steady state zone 2. I pick 90 minutes just because I just want to have as much time as I need. And what it will do, it's going to give me alerts. It's going to make noise as I'm going, letting me know whether I'm in the heart rate zone or not. And sometimes the heart rate zone is hard. Sometimes it's kind of difficult to get into. So now we're going. My heart rate's at 104, 106 and climbing. And then I'll get it into that zone. That kind of grayish zone there, which would be like 135 or something. One way to kind of uncomplicate your running is to work on nasal breathing. And when you start to feel like you're out of breath and you have to use your mouth, you can simply just walk. It's a great way of doing it. Good morning. I still got to walk for my warm-up. This will probably be my last one. What I found is that it's helpful to have the workouts recorded. I wish you could do the same thing with like weights. I wish you could just like record that you lifted, but nothing really does that. You'd have to write it out, or kind of more of a pain in the ass. My watch is connected to the heart rate monitor, the Morpheus heart rate monitor. So now I can tuck this guy away. I don't need my phone with me anymore. Just simply put it in my pocket. And I guess here we go. How do we run? We don't run, we jog. Mark Bell is all about teaching you about jogging. Running is here. So we're not trying to run. We're not trying to get our legs to be really far apart and to kick the legs way back. We are jogging. And we're gonna jog like we're trying to be like a ninja. Try to see it. It's hard to hear any noise I'm walking. Jogging, really low noise. Stay low. You're not jumping. There's not a lot of this going on. Okay? We're not jamming the heel into the ground. It's light. It's easy. It's slow. If you look at you start to run and you start to go, walk. Get your heart rate back. Heart rate monitor on your watch can be highly inaccurate, unfortunately. But again, if you want to keep this simple, you can just basically go off of, can I breathe in and out of my nose comfortably? It's a good regulator. So we're going to run low and slow. Low meaning we're not jumping really high. Slow meaning that if I start running like this, and I start to get out of breath, I gotta slow it down still. Low and slow. Again, you gotta keep in mind, this is for endurance training. This zone 2 type cardio, where you're gonna live, it's gonna be a nice building block and foundation for how long you can do shit for. So there's not a lot of intensity to this. Intensity could be something you could do on a different day. You can go out to a track and do a handful of 200s at 80%, or a handful of 400s, or a handful of 800s. Maybe you do that every other week, once a week. 80%, 85%, something like that. But most of your training's right here. Just like strength training, just like powerlifting. Powerlifting, you don't start out with your max on the bench. You start out with a warm-up. A nice, easy warm-up. And then you go into adding weight. Then you might do a 5x5 with 75 to 80%. And then what do? A bunch of assistance and accessory work. So most of your training, even when you're a power lifter, the intensity is a lot lower than what you might think, because the amount of reps that you do in your accessory work, assistance exercises and drop sets and all those things, they're going to be done with like 65 to 75% of your max, maybe. I think people sometimes get frustrated when you hear the plus 40 guys like myself kind of always talking about recovery, especially guys that have done it already. Like, I already did my heavy squats and deadlifts and benches. Like, I don't really give a fuck about them anymore, right? But recovery has always been critical. It's always been pivotal. It's always been a thing. It's always been important. It's never not been important. It's always been, your workouts are literally only as good as your recovery. And your recovery stops the moment you stop training, the moment you discontinue exercise for the day. And then how do you recover? You recover with intra-workout drinks that have carbohydrates, electrolytes, essential amino acids when you're lifting, and sometimes when you're running. Maybe you have some fast digesting carbs in there to replenish glycogen, and you're eating protein throughout the day to help with protein muscle synthesis, which gets your best bet for protein muscle synthesis is lifting. Your second best bet, you could, I guess, argue, sleeping and protein. They can both be tied for second for regeneration. But something that's missing in all of fitness, some people exercise so much and some people exercise so hard that their sleep is compromised. Some people in this country are so obese and out of shape that they can't sleep well either. So you have to be really cautious and really careful on how you train, because if it's having a negative impact on your sleep, you're chasing your own tail. And you want to be really cautious. If you sleep and your hip is bothering you, keep rolling one way and rolling the other, you know, it sucks to get like little injuries and get beat up here and there. It happens. But most likely you kind of overdid something. And so you have to figure out, how do I get how do I still train hard, but not so hard to where everything's so uncomfortable? I don't think people are like really paying much attention to that or honing in on that. I've really fixed my sleep quite a bit. Here's something that might be really useful to you. You just say that you need 7 hours of sleep every day. 7, 8 hours, somewhere in there. It's been easier for me to say 7 because I wasn't doing a great job of allotting for enough time for sleep a lot of times. So with that scenario, 7 hours, here's the thing that's cool about that. The 7 hours doesn't have to happen all at once. So you could sneak in half hour, 20 minutes, 90 minutes if you can get it, naps somewhere else in the day. I know, like, some people are probably like, I can't just take a nap in the middle of the day. Okay, I understand. But if you think about it, most of the time, you could actually probably sneak in a nap. Something else that's been really helpful for me, especially like on the weekend or day you have off of work or whatever, something else that's been really helpful to me is to kind of get rid of the word sleep and replace it with nap, recovery, meditation. To me, like a nap's like you lay down for 20, 30 minutes and maybe you do fall asleep, but maybe you're also unsuccessful. Who cares? It was time off your feet. It was time without your phone, and it was some time to relax. And those of you that want to get leaner and get better shape, I think this is a real hack right here. Is to have that mindset that your sleep doesn't have to happen all at once, and that you could pick it up on the flip side here and there. Now, that doesn't mean that you get to be negligent with your sleep and just be like, oh, I'm only gonna allot for like 5 hours. That's not gonna work very well for you. But just trust me, it's working great for me and having a huge impact on my life. I don't always get them. When I go to take the nap, I don't always fall asleep, but I feel better than ever. I feel faster than ever. I feel really fucking strong. I feel really powerful. I feel like if someone was to fuck with me, I'd be able to handle myself well. No injuries, 0 injuries. And I think that might be a little bit of a misconception about me. I think people might think that I'm banged up or something, but I'm not. I got some miles on me, for sure. But I feel incredible. This run is so easy. In fact, I think I might be running a little too fast. Let's see what Morpheus is telling me. Oh no, I'm right on. So I'm right in that bubble. Every once in a while you may have heard this go brrr. That means I'm going a little fast, but this is a good pace. So you'll find that when you do things the right way, train the right way, you don't overdo it, you don't need the ice bath as much. You don't need the, you don't need all these crazy recovery tools all the time. You need less myofascial release and stuff like that. Like, need less tricks if you just train appropriately. Kind of hard to talk about recovery without talking about those PEDs, right? So I guess let's talk about them a little bit. I think the worst thing that the Liver King ever did was made other people feel that it's important to lie about utilizing performance-enhancing drugs. Performance-enhancing drugs and steroids are absolutely amazing. They're incredible compounds. And they're hormones, oftentimes, that are even in your own body, especially when it comes to testosterone. A little bit of testosterone can go a long way. And regardless of what I say, how much I tell you I take, or, I mean, everyone's going to think everything's always like a lie. All I can do is just tell you what I do, and then I guess you can, you know, just think of it whatever way you'd like, I guess. I used a lot of performance-enhancing drugs over the years. While I was powerlifting, more often than not, the more that I took, the stronger that I got. And that did work. Obviously, there's some dangers to that. Some stresses on the liver, the kidneys, the heart, just some stress on the overall body. I don't regret it, and if I had an opportunity to do it again, I'd do it the same way, because I got what I wanted out of that stuff. It really helped a lot. And maybe some of it was reckless. I did blood work and I tried to take some health precautions, but I was really going to do it my way anyway, I guess. But anyway, nowadays I take less than half a cc of testosterone. A cc of testosterone, aka a milliliter of testosterone. When you're talking about getting pharmaceutical grade, you're talking about testosterone cypionate. Cypionate is the ester. It kind of denotes how long it will take for that testosterone to break down. So it's a slower acting ester, and 1 milliliter oftentimes is equivalent to about 200 milligrams. The pharmaceutical companies, they make it in different milligram dosages, so it could really depend. Then there's testosterone propionate. That's usually 100 milligrams per cc slash milliliter. Testosterone anthonate or enanthanate can be 200 to 300 range, sometimes 250. Then they make blends of slow and fast acting esters. I utilize testosterone cypionate, and I do a little less than half a cc 2 times a week. So I'm probably, depending on eyesight for the day, and kind of just depending on what I'm seeing on the little syringe there. So I take less than 1 milliliter of testosterone per week. Now, what else you on, bro? Here we go. We'll stay with injections. I also recently have been utilizing growth hormone. I take 1 IU of growth hormone Growth hormone used like an insulin syringe, and the measurements are much smaller. Take 1 IU of insulin or of growth hormone about 2 times a day. And I say about because sometimes it might fluctuate. It may be 1 time on one day. It might be like 3 times on another, depending. So, testosterone and growth hormone. Some of the changes that you're going to see from me coming up, people are going to relate them to trend and to massive loads of performance enhancing drugs. I'm telling you guys right now, performance enhancing drugs are part of this. It's so hard. I can't even give you a percentage to try to say, hey, the performance enhancers equal out to be this percentage, because I don't really know. But I'll tell you this: if I was to eat pizza and ice cream, be off plan, not sleep, you wouldn't see any of the results that I'm getting. They wouldn't be noticeable. I might get a little, I don't know, my performance-wise, do a little better or something, but you're not going to see anything unless I got the discipline going. So I think that we think if I just take that, that's going to equal this. Testosterone is an interesting one because, and it's, this part of it is missed by everybody. Testosterone is a massive motivator. You know how like let's just be honest, some real talk, things can be a demotivator, right? A demotivator of your fitness. You wake up and holy shit, it's snowing outside, right? You wake up, maybe you're a normie, and maybe you still wake up to an alarm, and maybe your alarm didn't wake you up that day. You get out of bed later than you wanted to. That's a demotivator. Look outside, it's raining. Demotivator. There's all these things that you can interpret that can kind of throw you off your path or throw you off what it is that we wanted to do. But it doesn't have to be that way. That's just our interpretation of it. When you take testosterone and you start to elevate testosterone levels to some reasonable amounts, once you go to do something, it makes the effort feel even better, as Dr. Huberman has pointed out. So that is a big motivator. It's like a motivation drug in a way. Kratom works that way too. I mean, Kratom, they both work quite differently. And I don't know all the science involved in both of them or either of them, to tell you the truth. But I do know what I know from using them. Yesterday, I lifted, shot some content in the gym, shot 2 buckets of content in the gym, and then recorded 2 podcasts. And we got done, and it's 2 p.m. I've been at the gym since 7 a.m. And, you know, I was kind of like, I'm gonna go run. Then it turned into like, hey buddy, just get out there and go for a walk, which I usually do. I usually say, just go for a walk, and the walk turns into the run. A lot of times I'll go to the gym and I'll say, just do shoulders. Next thing you know, I do a full shoulder and tricep workout. Kind of lie to myself because I know that motion is the lotion, and once I get movement involved, everything's firing and I'm fired up and excited. So when I was kind of a little fatigued from the day yesterday, I drank my new, I have a Kratom tea I'm coming out with. It's a tea, and it's got like 70 milligrams of caffeine. It has alpha GPC. It also has like 6 grams of kratom in it. Drank that sucker down. Next thing you know, I'm 5 miles into a 10-mile run. So that's why I utilize these things. I'm not some reckless maniac that just goes and shoots everywhere, shoots everything up. There's some strategy involved to some of it. And they're all things that are, they're little enhancements. Is kratom, you know, if you took kratom, would you be enticed to run 10 miles? Maybe for most of you, not yet, you know. But maybe it'd be a motivator to get you moving in the first place, and maybe talk you into doing something that you otherwise wouldn't have done, or wouldn't have done it with the same vigor. I try to share my experiences as openly as I can. There's really no reason for me to shoot a lot of these videos. In a lot of ways, I already made my money. I already did my thing. I don't really feel like I need more exposure. I don't need more money. I got 6 homes and 6 cars and more shit than I know what to do with. I got clothes in my closet that have tags on them that have never been worn before. I'm like, holy shit, that's a beautiful jacket. And it's just sitting there. I have an abundance. I'm already there. But I do share the information because I legitimately am hoping that it helps people. And I do. There is a side to me that believes I have a point, and I do believe that I'm right on a lot of things. So that's why I like to share it so much. And maybe that's an egotistical thing, or maybe it's a little narcissistic or something, but whatever the case is, I know that it resonates with a lot of people, and it helps more people than it hurts. And when it helps people, the amount of help that it offers to people has been completely mind-boggling. The gentleman we had in yesterday, his name is Matthew, Impossible Performance, I think his handle is on IG, possible.performance or something. Incredible guy, diagnosed with cancer at 17. They had to amputate his leg. And at 270 pounds, he's prepping to run his first marathon. And he was inspired to start running from me. And I'm listening to his story, and I'm like, my God, like, how is it possible that I impacted this guy's life? It's amazing. So sometimes people will ask, how do you deal with the negative comments? I look at the positive ones, you know? How can I deny a story like that? Versus, you know, someone just saying you're an asshole, you know, because you promote steroids. It's like, that doesn't really, that's not necessarily what I do. I have said before that I love steroids, and I'll be on and off them the rest of my life. That's a quote you can take to the bank. And I've said to other people too, like, you have access to it. It's like an iPhone or something. I mean, everyone's got access to it. Everyone has access to steroids. Some people could utilize them and they could really help. The way that I look at them is it's a modulator of your genes. And I think that my genes, I think I have great genes by that way, great genetics. I think I was blessed in a lot of ways. Have a nice full head of hair, being in my 40s. It's still mostly black, but I'm letting it grow crazy, so there's some gray in there. Always had a propensity for strength. Always been pretty motivated and fired up, and I think some of that comes from my genetics a little bit. I've shared with you guys many times. I grew up with two amazing parents. But I do think that I like using the word steroids because for some reason it's like really polarizing. But to encapsulate the whole picture, performance enhancing drugs, peptides and so forth, they're incredible. And they can kind of just adjust your genetics a little bit. So if you're someone that's been behind and someone that's really struggling, why not get on a little bit of semaglutide, Ozempic, something like that, a little bit of testosterone, and of course, go and lift weights 3 to 4 times a week. Take a little bit of growth hormone, maybe some shots of carnitine, L-carnitine, that's another one that I use. I take about 200 to 400 milligrams of that a day through an intramuscular shot. And that's kind of a liberator of fat in a way, is my understanding of it. But it's not some fat burner that's going to do anything for you unless you got the disciplines. And there's many disciplines you got to try to stay attached to. But performance enhancing drugs are just looked at in a really weird way. And if you guys knew the truth, you'd be shocked. You'd be completely astonished at how many people are on performance enhancing drugs and how many women are on even testosterone. It would blow you out of the chair that you're sitting at, and it would make your Ben and Jerry's fucking melt if you knew how much. Like, people are running shit. And even Mr. Beast, he made a great post. He had a roll down here that would make any baker jealous. He had this giant dough roll going. It's disgusting. Big old gut, giant belly button, and it honestly looked like a big roll of dough because it was so white. He posted a picture he's getting a little bit of a flex on this morning, and you can see some shoulders popping out, some bicep. But just why in the world would he try to battle that naturally when he made himself so unnatural? The human body is not meant to be built like this fucking fluffy triangle. Like, men aren't built to wear the most appropriate thing they could wear would be a sundress. That's not the way that we're built. We're not designed that way. We're not designed to go poof. And you're seeing it everywhere. And the answer isn't to fat shame or to blame, but the answer is we got to start to do something about this. And so yeah, it's great that Mr. Beast got himself moving, and it doesn't take anything away from the fact that he did it. Probably lost 50 or 60 pounds. Maybe 40 or 50 pounds. He may have put on even a little bit of muscle. But think about how competitive that guy is. There's just, again, there's no reason. It's not a moral thing. Just because you're scared to inject yourself with something doesn't mean you have more moral high ground than me. Steroids are fucking awesome. They're here to stay, and you're just going to see more and more people use them. I mean, how come people don't have the problem with the cost of alcohol? I mean, how hard does your body get taxed on that one? But look, alcohol is fucking great. It does what it's as advertised. Hey, I don't want to deal with my problems. I want to put life on pause for a minute. It's the greatest drug in the world. Greatest drug in the world. You want to put your life on pause and sweep all your problems under the rug. Does a great job of that. Is it actually a stress mitigator? Fuck no. It's a stress accelerator. It puts your stress level it puts the fucking pedal to the floor. It's a deception, in my opinion. And I'm not saying that steroids are healthy for you, because by most accounts, it doesn't appear to be that way. But they're fucking fun, and they help you do a lot of the things that you want to do in your life. It makes your path easier. You know, if I was going to go through some really rough terrain, going to go through a really rough forest, let's say the Amazon, and I had a guide with me, and the guy said, here, you know, use this stick to knock other sticks out of the way as we go through this thick brush. And I'm whacking stuff, not doing anything. I can't get anywhere. I'm sweating. I'm getting bit by mosquitoes. Then he says, hey, hold on. Why don't you use this instead? And he takes out this giant, sharp machete. And I say, nah. I want to do it the natural way. I don't want to have a performance enhancement like that. This is cool. I'm going to do it this way. Or he takes out a machine, and the machine uses gasoline, and oh, you know, I'm really worried. I don't want the gas and everything to mess with the forest or whatever, the jungle, wherever it might be. I mean, most people are going to take the easier route. They're going to take the route that they're going to have a better success rate with. Are steroids a shortcut? Yeah, they are. Imagine, you know, like, you know, your chat GPT, your boss asks you to do something. Use chat GPT in combination with your own intellect and your own disciplines, and you give your boss a report on Monday. That's fucking awesome, incredible. Does it matter that you use chat GPT? I don't think so. Especially if you had diligence and you read it and you paid attention to it. Same thing's true with steroids. They can really help you get somewhere a little faster. But if you're a piece of shit, you're always going to be a piece of shit. You're not going to be able to get past it. Habit development over a long period of time. Unflinching discipline. We don't have any more time in this country to fuck around. Education has to be pushed to the front of the line. And I'm hoping that with whoever the next president is, I'm hoping I can maybe latch onto them and see if they would be down to let me teach more of the world some of these things that I've figured out and known for a long time. I don't think there's anybody better to do it than me in the whole world. I mean, a lot of these guys in fitness, a lot of these people have shared their stories with you. They haven't really done, they don't have the perspective I got, I don't think. Some of them are awesome. Some of them have PhDs, and these are really smart and intelligent. But I've lost 100 pounds. I've competed on many different levels in many different sports. And I come from a family that, family's pretty fat. And so when I hear skinny people talking about skinny people things, and they talk about being skinny or getting skinnier, they don't understand what it's like to be fat. They don't have any idea how hard it can be. But in my opinion, physical education is the education for America. That's where we need to settle in, and that's what we need to do. And I might need to get off my own ass. Yeah, I might have to get political at some point and really start to, I really do want to make a difference in this country. And I think one of the most important things is just to help people be able to manage their body weight. And we do it by starting with the kids. The adults are lost. Adults are gone. I wear shoes like this, these Palooza shoes that got the 5-toe toe box thing. People are like, those are weird. You know, different things I work on or different things I do. Because adults, they want to be in their comfort zone. And I could very easily just blast you right back and say, you know what's weird? It's that you drink every fucking night and you don't communicate with your spouse and that you neglect your kids. You know, it's like, it can be so frustrating sometimes in dealing with adults, but our children want to learn. They want to grow. A lot of, especially boys, a lot of boys, if you were to ask a giant group of 8, 9, 10-year-old kids, boys, if they wanted to have more muscle, they'd be like, hell yeah, it'd be awesome. So, start figuring it out. Have these kids, you know, playing again and being able to do the monkey bars and all the things you remember seeing people do, things that are lost. And now it's acceptable here in the United States. We've just become accepting that every year over 40, stuff's just gonna slide downhill. And I think there's zero truth to that. Even though we have a lot of research and evidence showing that that's the case, it's actually not the case. It's only that way, it's only normal because of what we do. If you give the body inputs to stay more muscular, it will hold on to more muscle mass. The actual root cause of our issue in America as it pertains to obesity isn't just body fat mass. People do have more than enough of that a lot of times going into their older years, from when they go from 20 to 30, from 30 to 40 and so on. But the reaper, the real killer, is being under-muscled. You lose, speculate, you lose a percentage or two of strength every single year over the age of 40. Who are they measuring? They ain't testing me. They're not testing Stan. They're not testing guys that are still getting after it. And even guys that are natural, they're still getting after it. They're testing standard American person. on the standard American diet, which is absolutely pathetic. People don't train and they don't eat enough protein. Lifting and protein. Break down protein, break down muscle, eat muscle, repeat. Break down muscle, eat muscle, repeat. Break down muscle, eat muscle, be on that hustle every single day. No matter what. And over time, you'll see people make a big shift. The cool thing is that when you eat more protein, your body will become more full. And you'll actually be able to eat large amounts of volume of food, because a really lean piece of fish, chicken, or steak doesn't have nearly the calories per square inch like a Snickers bar would have, or something like that. So I'm going to make it my mission over the next couple months to really try to hone in on that category, really try to hone in on how to not just help the individual people that have been asking for help, but how to help the households and how to help the kids. There's a lot of kids out there right now that are a lot fatter than they want to be. They don't really have anybody to talk to. They don't know where to go. They don't know, hey, if this message reaches you and you're 10 or 15 or 12 or whatever, message me. I'll help you out. Throw us some information in the comments. I'll help you out whatever way I can. But I think this is a lot simpler than what we're thinking. I think you replace a lot of the junk food with like Quest bars and things like that. You give kids more options. You don't tell them no, and you don't tell them can't, and you don't tell them never. You say, yeah, some of those things could be part of a diet, but they represent a very small part of the diet. And we don't want to be that way. We're trying to go in more this way. There's not a lot of things in life that you have control over. Or at least it can feel that way sometimes. But your body weight? Come on. Like, seriously, do you have to be 40 pounds overweight? Again, this is not about shame. I'm asking you a question. Is this what you envisioned for yourself? I used to be 330. I know. I've been there. And I lied to myself about what it was for. Oh, it was for powerlifting. I'm getting jacked. I'm getting big. I'm getting strong. And yeah, it was some of that. But a lot of it was just that I love to eat fucking ice cream and donuts and pizza. And I know that you dig those things too. And that's okay. But what about stringing together a handful of days? Kind of over and over again. Like if you could figure this out. If you can string together 5 days in a row. 5 days in a row. Fall off just a tiny bit. With a little treat or something like that. And repeat. And do it over and over again. And repeat those 5 day cycles 20 or 30 times in a year. And you previously weren't on much of a diet or a plan. You're gonna be able to make tons of progress. I just made that up. I just grabbed it from the sky. Or if every other day you had a sweet snack that you really liked, or you had some small deviation that's off your diet. What I'll do a lot of times is I'll eat Quest bars or Legendary Tasty Pastries. These things are at Target and Walmart. So don't give me this shit about, oh, you're a meathead millionaire, and so you gotta. These things are available. These things are available in places that I would never be caught dead shopping, but a lot of you are probably shopping there. These things are available. They're available at the gas station. You're just not looking because you're used to getting the flaming hot Cheetos and shit like that. Start looking. There's a Fairlife sitting right there for you at a lot of these gas stations. 30 grams of protein, 25 grams of protein, hardly any carbohydrate, minimal amounts of fat. We have answers right in front of us right now today. where people can make huge changes. Entire families can make huge changes. People can make changes that will impact the rest of their life. You can make changes right now that will impact the rest of your life. And then all you want to do is joke about it, and all you want to do is be like, oh, I could never do that. It's fucking lame. It's lame. I think we can do better. I know we can do better. I see people do it all the time. My boy Russell is down 70 pounds. It's probably taken him close to 3 years to do that. Who cares how long it takes? Might take him 4 years to get to the 100-pound mark. So what? He's a lot further ahead than if he just said, I don't think I could do that. He said, you know what? I don't have a lot of other good choices. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try it. And it's been met with a lot of resistance. That's why it's taken so long. But you can do it. You can go from not being able to run at all to be able to run a marathon. You can go from not being able to lift anything to be able to bench your body weight, be able to deadlift your body weight, be able to deadlift double your body weight. Nobody knows what the human mind is capable of. And I believe that everyone has a godlike feature and a godlike attribute, and it's called will. And it's your job, it's your moral obligation in this life, in my opinion, to figure out and to work on how to strengthen that will. The education of your will be the greatest education you can ever get, aside from physical education. Strength is never weakness, weakness is never strength. Catch you guys later.